Well, hey guys, how you doing tonight? This is Bear with Bear's Den Acrylic Art, and we are back with another painting video. So, in front of me I have another 16 by 40, so I'm sure you can guess what we are going to be doing. This is going to be one of the last Harvest Moon paintings that I will do. I feel like that the series is kind of running its course. Which is fantastic. I think they've turned out wonderfully. So after this one, I have one more that I have planned that is going to be in two pieces as opposed to just one, but we'll get there at the appropriate time. So I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas, a wonderful Hanukkah, just an overall good holiday season. I know I did. Lots of time with my big crazy family, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So anyway, let us get started. So this color palette was kind of sparked on by the Pearl Sage Green by Arteza. Which I found to be a very kind of vexing color. But I think this is going to work. So we've got some, a Payne's gray, a deeper green. We've got, some reds and pinks. I think it's going to look good, at least in my head it does. So fingers crossed that it translates well onto the canvas. And I want to do something a little bit different with the composition as well. So I have, I drew a little roadmap for my composition that hopefully, hopefully we can manage. So we are going to see. So the first color that I'm going to put down, this is Payne's Gray, Liquitex Basics, which is a more gray Liquitex, or Payne's Gray. I didn't want something as, like the Golden's Payne's Gray has a lot of blue hue to it. So I did kind of want to avoid that as best I could. And just go with a slightly grayer gray. All right, so something like that, okay? Which this looks like a racetrack. All right. And, these parts that are a little bit disjointed, it's not going to matter. It's all going to come out in the end. But yeah. Sorry, trying to walk and chew gum at the same time is not one of my strong suits. But I also have to remember that we've got a lot of other color to put down, so I don't want to go too crazy. So, Olive Green Deep by Amsterdam. All right. Now, this is a color that I think fits with the palette. Sometimes my eyes lie to me. I didn't want something as verdant, I guess, as like a permanent green or like a terre verte, because the greens, as you will see, are more on the gray and pastel side. So next color, this is Green Gray by Liquitex Basics, and this is a color that I've had forever that I very rarely use. Mostly because I don't really use greens as a primary palette very often. But this pairs very, very well with the pearl sage, which in turn pairs very well with the pinks that you will see in just a moment. So next, going down, the color that kicked this off, or that sparked this, the Pearl Sage Green by Arteza. Yeah, this the pearl greens. I'm struggling. To be honest with you, I'm struggling figuring out how I want to use them. Not just the pearl sage, but like the pearl cactus, the pearl pistachio. So we're just trying some things to see what will work and what will not. So Bordeaux by Arteza, which flavor of the month, and rightfully so. Now, I will note that all of these colors are mixed 2 parts of US Floetrol to 1 part paint to 0.7-0.75-ish parts of water. All right, like the pearl colors took a little bit more water because they've got the mica. All right. But that's my general ratio. Okay, Light Rose by Amsterdam, which is this just gorgeous, gorgeous, very soft pink. So what I want this to look like is like a flowering vine kind of deal. But I wanted to use the Payne's gray instead of, say, like a brown, like a raw umber. Just because I was afraid that I would get mud. All right, so last color going down. This is the Pearl Rose by Arteza. And I love this color. And this bottle is almost kicked, but I should have enough. Perfect. All right, so we're gonna pop some air bubbles. Now, depending on what this looks like, when it's blown out is going to better inform me as to whether or not I use gold leaf or the rose gold leaf, which is what I'm leaning towards just kind of preliminarily. All right. So, here we go. Fingers crossed. Start in the middle. Gonna do like I always do. Divide and conquer. just kind of checking for symmetry. Okay. This is really pretty. One thing I was kind of concerned about with using the olive green and the Bordeaux is, you know, I try to avoid like Christmas colors, you know, and red and green is, you know, very Christmassy, obviously. That's why I wanted to make sure that I finished with the pinks. But this is really pretty. This really does look kind of like garland. Now, this portion right here, thankfully, it did stay separate. But what I am going to do is with my trusty straw, we are going to see if we can't separate this a little bit more. And I'll have to come back in several times as this sets. But if all else fails, I can very easily, once it's dry, just come back in with the titanium white and, you know, reclaim some of this. And I came back in this area for a second pass to see if I could, you know, just fan it out a little bit. But, you know, to limited success. So we're just trying to shape. And I'm just trying to pull up some of the color that's underneath. But overall, I think this looks really, really, it's really pretty, I have to say. The garland is a lot, but I think there is enough white negative space where it's not too detrimental, you know, especially when I put in the metal leafing. So, and I'm even happy with my starting point. So what I am going to do, I am going to clean up my edges and I will bring you down for a close-up and you can see what this looks like from my angle. So I'll meet you down here in just a minute. All right, friends, here are the wet results, and I'm amazed that through the lens of my phone, this actually looks a lot darker than it is in real life. So, pardon the glare as usual. So, there is a lot that I like here. I really, really like the fact that the pink, the pearl rose, is featuring so prominently. You know, I love that we've got some little cell details, you know, not a whole lot because I don't have any metallics, which is odd for me. But yeah, I'm also very glad that my base is Amsterdam Titanium White, because had I used the soft body white by Artist Loft, like all of these, oh, that's a terrible angle with the light overhead, all of these little cells, you know, there'd be a heck of a lot more and it would have eaten the composition. So I like the shape, I like the colors. I am hoping that it's not reading too, you know, Christmassy. You know, I'm curious as to what it would have looked like had I left out the olive green deep, but I felt like it needed something a little bit more vivid than the more pastel washed out greens that I was using. So we'll see what this looks like in a couple days when it's dry. All right, guys, here are the dried and gilded results. If we kind of zoom in, this dried really, really, really well. I like that the green dried as dark as it did, because this is now more reminiscent of, you know, like a cherry blossom, you know, if cherry blossoms grew on a vine, which was one of my favorite things about living in the DC area, was the Cherry Blossom Festival. Anyway, it looks more like that as opposed to, you know, Christmassy. You know, the Pearl Rose is great. I think there it is. The Pearl Sage Green, I think they pair very, very well together. The Payne's Gray is coming through, the Bordeaux, obviously. So overall, this is really, really nice. So all I have left to do is to go over, to outline everything with my extra fine Posca pen, and then throw about 6 coats of Liquitex High Gloss Varnish on this, and it'll be complete. But overall, I am super happy with this. All right, guys. Well, thank you once again for joining me. Thank you for sticking with me through this whole series. It's been a lot of fun. You know, if you're new to my channel and you like what you see, please consider hitting that subscribe and hitting that thumbs up. That helps me a lot. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified of when I upload new content. And by all means, please feel free to leave a comment. I will do my best to get back to you in a timely fashion. You know, this and all of my other work is available for purchase. You can find that work on my website, www.bearsdenacrylicart.com. You can also find and follow me, if the spirit moves you, on Facebook and Instagram, both under Bears Den Acrylic Art. You can even email me directly at bear@bearsdenacrylicart.com. So, once again, guys, thank you so much for sticking around, and I will see you back with the next video. Talk to you later. Bye.